लोन उधारे, तेल उधारे, मादर बाजे, वह उधारे. Dear students, this is the fact of modern life and modern man. Here, loan and tel, salt and oil stands for the basic requirements of human being. Mother is musical instrument of tribes and it is played on the occasions, the festivals. Both things, the basic requirements and the festivals are done by the borrowed money. Car, bangla, business, everything is on loan, on finance. Not only so, in 9th class, the lesson, the never missed, you have read that even the birth of the baby was also on debt. And the charges of the hospital were paid only when a check of 200 rupees was given by the aunt of the parents. The installments are not duly paid and a time comes when either the borrower raises his hand before the lender or he stealthily escapes from there. Here the question is that what are the factors behind it? The factors are our endless desires, mismanagement of expenses, and our expense without plan. Moreover, there is one most factor, and it is the moral downfall. The present lesson, Expense by Francis Bacon, gives a solution to these problems. It shows how to balance between income and expense. There are 3 points in the essay: riches and its expense, kinds of expense, and tips for expense. Bacon says that the riches, the income, the wealth is sure to be spent, but it must be spent for the noble purpose, for the sake of religion, for the sake of country, or other such noble purposes. The kinds of expense, Bacon talks about 2 kinds of expenses. They are ordinary expense and extraordinary expense. According to Bacon, ordinary expenses are such expenses that are usual, regular, and unavoidable. Such expenses are the payment of bills and other domestic expenses. Another kind of expense is the extraordinary expense. This type of expense is unusual, occasional, and it can't be calculated beforehand. Now, the tips for expense. Bacon suggests some tips to balance our economical issues, to balance the income and expenses, so that we can save ourselves from the economical or financial crisis. The tips are the following: financial fixed income should be spent, manage our expenses, careful selection of servants and their transfer, proper balance in income and expense. One should be economical in expenses and lavish on non-returning expenses. Fixed income should be spent. Manage own expenses. Careful selection of servants. And their transfer. Proper balance in income and expense. And third is, one should be economical, in expenses and laviness in non-returning expenses. In non-returning expenses. Fixed income should be spent. It means there should be a strict limit for the expense, and for the better economic condition, half of the income should be saved. Manage our own expenses. It means the expenses must not be as per the occasion, but it should be well planned, and a major amount of our income should be saved for the future expenses. Careful selection of servants and their transfer. One who does not manage his own estate, he need to keep the servants. The servants should be selected carefully, and their transfer is essential after a certain time. Otherwise, they are not much sincere towards their duties, and they are not loyal to their master. Proper balance in income and expenses. It is essential to be balanced in the income and expenses, otherwise the man is overloaded with the debt, and it becomes difficult and sometimes impossible to come out from the financial crisis. One should be economical in expenses and lavish in non-returning expenses. It means at the time of expense, we should have a control on our desires. Otherwise, it is sure to be bare-handed, and our pocket will be without money. So this is all about this essay of expense, and the message is that if someone follows the rules and suggestions given by Bacon, he is sure to have a prosperous, peaceful and happy life. Thanks, that's all for this video.